Hi there, my name's Scott Keyser and I'm the writing guy. I heard a really interesting interview on BBC Radio yesterday morning with a 3 times Pulitzer Prize winning journalist called Thomas Friedman, who's just written a book called Thanks for Being Late, an optimist's guide to thriving in the age of accelerations. And he said something that really got my attention. He said that 2007 was as important a year, in fact he called it an inflection point, as the invention of the printing press by Johannes Gutenberg in whenever it was in the 15th century. And that kind of got my attention. I thought, oh, I'm going to listen to this guy. Apart from the fact that he came up with a description of Donald Trump that I absolutely love. He refers to him as the boy king, which just sums it up, the power of language. But anyway, that's not what I want to speak to you about today. So he talked about 2007 as being an inflection point, like the hockey stick point, the tipping point for our world. And he just listed a litany of new technologies, companies and platforms that emerged in and around that time. So in no particular order, I'm going to try and remember as many as I can. Amazon launched Kindle in 2007, which obviously revolutionized the ebook market. Steve Jobs launched the first iPhone, which obviously reinvented and revolutionized the mobile phone market. Google bought YouTube, and then in 2007 launched Android. Intel introduced the first non-silicon materials into their microchips, which apparently, I'm not technical, I don't get all that, but if you may well understand it. But apparently that was a game changer in terms of processing power. Facebook and Twitter went global in 2007, and a company I'd never heard of called Hadoop enabled the whatever you do to big data, enabled big data to happen. So there are a load of things happening in and around 2007 that allowed Moore's law, which is the law whereby computing power doubles roughly every 2 years, enabled that law to continue. And it was a very convincing argument. And yet, despite that explosion in technologies, that exponential growth in computing power, the fact that we have massive processing power in our pockets and at our very fingertips, despite all that, and all those things have shaped how we create and collaborate and communicate, despite all that, the currency of human communication, civilization and progress has always been and still is the written word. Without the written word, we wouldn't have any of this. Because what does the written word enable us to do? Of course, it allows us to record what already exists, but much more interestingly, it allows us to create new things, new entities, money, corporations, government, democracy, complex forms of society. Because the written word allows us to express new ideas, new complex ideas with precision and then share them at scale with the rest of the world. And in fact, I'd go so far as to say that it's impossible to really have a complex idea, or certainly to develop a complex idea without the written word, because writing it down forces you to refine it and hone it and develop it and explore it and really investigate it. So without the written word, I just don't think our civilization would exist. So if you're interested in honing your ability to get the results that you want through the written word, then check out my next Writing Skills Open course, which is in central London on the 23rd and 24th of February. In fact, I'm combining it. There's a 1 day on persuasive writing, and then there's a half day delivered by my friend and colleague, Professor Phil Cleaver, who's the best designer I've ever worked with, who designed the cover of my book Rhetorica. He's going to be there talking about typography and typesetting and design on the morning of the 24th. But check it out, drop me a line. The best email to reach me at is scott@write, as in write a book, for results.com. Thanks for listening and see you again.